Hi everyone and welcome to the All Things ITSM Global Podcast. We're coming to you from FUSION15 in New Orleans. I'm Kirsty McGowan, I'm here with Mark Smalley.
Kirsty, what a pleasure.
Charlie Betts.
Kirsty.
And it's our pleasure to be chatting with Marucio Corona this
Kirsty,
afternoon.
thank you for having me here.
Lovely to have you here.
Thank you.
Now, Mauricio, we come across each other at conferences in various places around the world. I've had the pleasure of talking at about 20 countries, but I've never been in Latin America before. One of the topics I'm interested in is the cultural differences. You got a good understanding of various worlds.
Absolutely.
Fill me in. What's different?
Yeah, it's quite different. It's quite harder for us. We're not used to follow processes. That's a main issue that I have found all over around the globe, as you mentioned, but I think that it's even much more harder across Latin America. So the people factor is even much more important right here. So this is something that we must achieve, and this is something that this is why most of the organizations are looking for improving ways how to achieve or how to embrace some frameworks, some standards, and in order to achieve quality within the organizations. So it's even harder right here.
I guess that would also extend into the area of implementing IT service management tooling, for instance, and stuff. So how would that influence the way people approach the topic of tooling?
The main thing that we always try to about how we try to achieve these things is using at the same time people, process, and technology. It has to be at the same time. It's not possible maybe to start thinking about, well, this is the best tool or the other one. So I think that we must first think about which framework or which standard I'm going to embrace or I'm looking forward. Then what are my main goals? And once that I have this, let's start working with the people. What kind of people do we have within the company? Every company is different. We have a lot of companies. We have companies that they are getting international operations and bringing international operations to their countries. If right now something fails within a cellular phone right here in USA, maybe the people that is dialing is getting an answer in Mexico. I know several companies. So we have so much diversity across Latin America, and that's why it's so interesting. We can find organizations that doesn't have anything or something are starting on that, or we can have the other way.
Well, it's interesting you say, Mauricio, that it's hard to follow process. There's a disinclination to follow process. Now, putting on my Agile and DevOps hat, I would notice that there's actually been some rethinking of the role and importance of process even in Europe and in the United States. There's, I think, some concern that process has become a little overspecified, a little too prescriptive, that this gets in the way of actually effective development of new and novel products. What is your sense of the role or progress or perception of the Agile movement in Latin America? Is there interest?
Yeah, it is, but I think that organizations are still struggling with the main issue about processes. So we can't do Agile if we do not have processes before. So these kind of definitions they do not have. This is why organizations are taking a look to so many standards. Right now across Latin America, I have found organizations that are very interested, and they are even certified on ISO 20000, on ISO 27000, on ISO 9000, and they have right with me and said, okay, Mauricio, I already have all of these information systems. What's the next step? Yeah, and we have found that right there. It's another kind of standard of frameworks.
Yeah, you just mentioned ISO 9000. Because quality of service, one of the first ports of call with customer experience, user experience, is the service desk.
Yeah.
Do you have any? Could you talk to that?
Yes,
service
absolutely.
desktop.
We start working with every company, and they have a main issue right there. So I have found a lot of companies that are stating on their vision or their mission or their main objectives, like, we want to be a world-class company. And then I arrived with them and said, how are you achieving this? I don't know. Mauricio, we need help. This is why, for example, for Service Desk, we are working as BP Gurus with the Service Desk Institute, and we are promoting right now the Service Desk certification program. So it's a very interesting program. We already started with that. The organizations are very happy with that, and they are taking the SDC program as their own framework in order to start improving operations within the service desk. So we already ran the first SDC assessment, and we are running three more assessments before the end of this year. So this is talking about what Latin American companies are doing in order to really improve and in order to provide an objective benchmark against the worldwide operations.
So what is the work that you're doing with SDI then? So it's looking at those standardized approaches and...
What we're doing with them is we are working very closely. We have all of their support. They help us in order to arrive with all of the organizations that need these kind of things. And we start working together. We are delivering all over across Latin America, and they support us.
Great.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, SDI is the big supporter behind the Shine, the series of Shine webcasts that we've had recently.
Brilliant conference.
Yeah. I thought one of the great things of the conference is that it wasn't all presented in English, but we had Spanish contributions, we had German contributions.
In German,
as well.
Yeah, this year, we had English, German, and Spanish. So this talks about their commitment with a worldwide community. And that's exactly what I have been asking and looking for several years ago, and this is something that I found on SDI. So.
Remind us what your topic was on your last...
it was about, on Shine?
Yeah,
on Shine it was about the people factor and how to develop a capability portfolio within the organizations. And we get back to the beginning, and it's about people factor and how can we achieve that. So we have found on the SDC's program a people factor as well. So we are trying to empower the organizations in order to embrace that part as well.
And is that, you mentioned capability, is that in the same area as, we see a number of competence frameworks.
Yeah,
the
that's right.
ECF, European Competence Framework.
On the competence framework. Yeah, I have been working on that, and in fact, I have seen several frameworks, but what I have found is that we are working on a specific competency framework for Latin America, because we are struggling even much more than you guys on your own countries with processes. So we have a very, very big issue across Latin America regarding processes. So it's very interesting, and I have been talking with people specialized on human resources, and they know how about to handle and develop these new competencies, and they have been helping us in order to embrace these international standards. Yeah.
Excellent.
So what sort of work can you do to help people embrace those processes? Because it's I mean, and it's not just Latin America. I think there's all over the world.
Yeah.
Maybe some countries don't like to admit it, that they struggle with accepting processes. So, how do you get people to
Firstly,
accept them?
we work with them to understand their own business model.
Yep.
What do you want to achieve? Because that's the key point when we arrive with them. Mauricio, we want the SDC program, we want ISO 27, ISO 10. Yeah, that's good. Why do you want it?
Yep.
So the first point that we work with them is your business model. Know what are you doing, what's important for your organization. It doesn't matter if you are here, if you have been working here for the last 20 years. There are so much people that I have found that they have 20 years on the same organization and does not really know where are they going. So that's the first point.
Yep.
Yeah, well, our first keynote speaker today at the conference was Dan Pink, who I first bumped into with his book Drive, in which he said, you motivate people by working on autonomy, mastery and purpose.
Yeah.
And what you've just mentioned is clearly working on purpose, giving people the context, the insight into the value of their work. So you're using that as one of the motivational factors to get people...
Absolutely, that's the first point. And once that you have that, then you can plan a roadmap and you can start working with them with this. And you always have to keep in mind to capitalize quick wins. You have to start working on that. We
So
have
they-
to bet
yeah.
on these kind of things. We really do not want to start working on projects that are going to be 2 or 3 or 4 years. Companies can't wait
No.
that amount of time.
So they need to, really, they need to believe in the value of the process before they
Yeah.
go to follow it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one word that is very, very important. It's about awareness. Why do you want to do this? Why are you going to do this? Yeah.
Refresh my Spanish, the word for awareness.
Concientización.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the word. Yeah.
Well, let's focus on that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, Mauricio. It's
Thank
been
you.
What a
pleasure
pleasure.
talking to you
Yeah,
this
as
afternoon.
always.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for
great,
coming.
thanks.